So let's start today with some policy analysis. Nothing more exciting than that for sure. But this is actually very interesting. We've talked before. In fact, we spoke earlier on the bonus show yesterday about this, but I do want to do a deeper dive on it because it's very important. A conservative think tank did an analysis of Joe Biden's tax plan and confirmed that the tax increases will go almost exclusively to the very rich and will be stimulative to the economy overall. And this is so wild because it's so obvious when you look at Joe Biden's tax plan that the tax hikes go overwhelmingly to the top 5 and 1%. And yet Republicans and Trump not only have been lying about what's in the plan, they lie about the impact that the plan will have. So let's set it up and go through it piece by piece. When Donald Trump was running for president back in 2015, 2016, and proposed his tax plan, nonpartisan groups looked at it and they said, this is not going to stimulate the economy and it will blow up the deficit. And of course, every time Donald Trump was asked about it, when Trump's advisors were asked about it, they would say, no. What they're not calculating is that the tax plan will grow the economy so much that we will get new tax revenue. So even though it might in the short term look like it increases the deficit, the growth aspect will way override that. And we're going to get more tax revenue and the economy will grow and all this different stuff. The deficit will actually go down. We knew it wouldn't happen at the time, and it hasn't happened. Donald Trump gave tax cuts to the rich. The deficit exploded. The growth hasn't happened. And this is before coronavirus. Yes, coronavirus has thrown a monkey wrench into the entire thing. But even pre-coronavirus, it wasn't happening. So Joe Biden puts out a tax plan, and the tax plan includes a number of different provisions: higher taxes for the very rich. He would uncap Social Security taxes beyond $400,000 in annual income, huge revenue increase. He would tax capital gains as ordinary income in certain cases for certain people earning over $1 million a year. He would eliminate the stepped up basis loophole. I don't have to explain each item, but the point is Joe Biden puts out a specific tax plan. We look at it, and it's unremarkable, given our understanding of economics, that Joe Biden's tax plan would work perfectly reasonably if indeed it is made law. Donald Trump has been hammering on Biden's tax plan by saying things like he will quadruple your taxes, mathematical impossibility. If you already pay 35%, how do you quadruple that? Doesn't make any sense. Trump says under Biden's tax plan, your 401ks would implode. We would have a recession. We would have a depression, all of that different stuff. And Donald Trump has been saying Biden will raise your taxes if you are in the middle class. If you're a middle class American, Joe Biden will raise your taxes. Biden clearly has said he wouldn't do it. OK, now financial firms like Goldman Sachs have already looked at the plan and they've confirmed what any reasonable person would realize when looking at the plan and understanding history, which is that Joe Biden's tax plan would likely grow the economy. We know the economy tends to do better under Democratic presidents. We can debate why. We can debate whether it does better enough. But the reality is any indicator you look at, inflation, stock market, job creation, unemployment, GDP growth, historically, they do better under Democratic presidents. OK, but now in comes the right wing think tank, the American Enterprise Institute. This is, again, a right wing think tank. They've analyzed the plan. And they agree that, number one, almost all of the tax increases that Joe Biden proposes go to the richest 5% of households, and that Joe Biden's tax plan will reduce taxes for the bottom 95% of households. So top 5%, your taxes go up, bottom 95%, taxes go down. Biden's tax plan, according to the right wing think tank, AEI, will raise federal revenue by nearly $3 trillion over the next decade. It would be deficit negative. And then here is the real kicker. All of this stuff Biden is going to do, Trump says it'll destroy the economy. Okay, all of it over 10 years will lower GDP, get ready for this, by 0.16%. OK, that's essentially nothing. 0.16% decrease to GDP over a decade. But, and here's the really amazing thing, demand side stimulus works, my friends. Biden's plan is going to take some of that tax money and spend it on social investments, which will increase economic growth. So in other words, The direct impact of Biden's tax plan is an almost zero decrease of GDP of 0.16% over 10 years. But it will create growth. This is what Trump claimed his plan would do, even though it wouldn't. Biden's plan would create growth such that new tax revenues would exceed the cost, and we are expecting that GDP would actually increase more quickly thanks to this plan. This is exactly what Donald Trump claimed his plan would do. It didn't. It was never going to. But even a right-wing think tank acknowledges that it is exactly what Joe Biden's plan would do. We are in bizarro world with Republican voters continuing to fall for Trump's claims that Biden will be bad for the economy, that Biden will tax the middle class more. He won't. And by the way, even if you want to argue that this will be bad for the rich because the rich will have to pay more taxes on investment income and pay higher estate taxes, in the long run, this is probably good for the rich as well, because when you stimulate demand side in the middle class and lower middle class, when you give tax cuts to lower income people who will spend the money, where are they going to spend it? Those people are going to go and spend the money at businesses owned by the rich. So understand that by giving the middle class a tax cut, you help the rich. By funding government programs properly, people will be able to get vital services and better serve the business interests of the rich. And every time we dig into the details, this is what we find. And this is nothing new. We've gone through this routine analyzing Trump's tax plan, Barack Obama's tax plan, George W. Bush's tax plan. This goes back as long as we've been doing this. The political season changes, but understanding the fundamentals of supposed supply side economics, demand side stimulus, we always end up in the same place. And even the right wing think tank here, AEI, American Enterprise Institute, agrees that that would indeed be the case. Very interesting, but not altogether surprising. If you love feeding your intellectual curiosity, but you're always struggling to find the time, check out one of my all-time favorite apps called Blinkist. Blinkist lets you consume an entire book on your way home from work. They take thousands of popular nonfiction books, condense each one into text or audio that you can get through in just 15 minutes, and you get all of the important core ideas and information from that book. It's perfect if you don't have enough time to do all the reading you want to do, or if you just want to sample a book before you buy the entire thing. I recently read A Brief History of Time, of course, by the great Stephen Hawking. This is a book that I have been aware of for so long, and other things got in the way, and it was fantastic to check it out on Blinkist. Blinkist has books on politics, philosophy, science. They have 27 different nonfiction categories, and a subscription is only about $8 a month, and you get the entire library. But you can try it totally free and get 25% off a subscription when you go to Blinkist.com/Pakman. I've put the link right underneath this video.